One of the most difficult things for family members to understand when they have an alcoholic in their family is that the alcoholic does not have a choice. Okay, their choice is the alcohol. It's not over, and it becomes over family relationships like children or parents or spouses. It becomes more important eventually than their own health and their own well-being. So they're not choosing alcohol over their family. Their only choice is the alcohol. And as irrational as that sounds, it's a reality. They don't have a plan B. It's the alcohol. That's all there is. And they have to consume it, they have to find it, and they have to recover from it and do around the same vicious circle. So when I hear family members say, well, he chose alcohol over his family, actually, no, he didn't. He didn't have any other choice. His only choice was the alcohol. This is the addiction. This is the mental health issue. This is the alcohol use disorder. This is the malady that families have to go through. Understanding the number one most important thing families have to realize, though, is that it's not personal, and this is the hard part. And as a family member, understanding that it's not personal, that it's not even about you, it's about the loved one in your life has this addiction. The alcohol is their only relationship. It's not taking away from your relationship, it's just that becomes their only relationship. Very painful for spouses to feel that, and it's very difficult not to get caught up in your own reactionary emotions as a family member. And really, my perspective is from the family member. If this is the first time seeing me, while I was married for 25 years, and my wife succumbed to alcohol use disorder almost 5 years ago this February, so I'm very well versed on how families deal with it, their emotions that they feel, and the trauma that they go through being around the alcoholic and this tornado in their life that is the alcoholic. Understanding it and putting it into context is so important in understanding how to approach it and how to react to it. And really, you don't want to get caught up into the anger and the frustration and the animosity, because it serves no one. It doesn't serve you, and the alcoholic certainly isn't going to be affected by your reactionary emotions. And the truth is, your own codependency or your enabling, and you get so caught up into it and you're angry. If you're walking around angry all the time as a family member, it can affect you emotionally. I mean, it's affecting you emotionally, but it can affect you physically. The stress can affect your heart. Okay, so you have to watch out for that. You have to make yourself a priority as a family member. And I always say it's very important. Just like the alcoholic, you kind of need to reinvent yourself. In some ways, you need to have a life outside the marriage if it's a spouse, if you're a spouse, which is most of the cases. And I mean, have hobbies, do something, creative. I used to lift weights. I had a business. I had relationships outside the marriage. I mean, buddies. And it's important. It's important to not be consumed by the alcoholic in your family. If it's a child, it's a different situation. If it's your parents, it's a completely different situations. Sometimes you have to go limited contact or no contact at all to get your message across. The whole point of it is understand that the disease that the alcoholic has in your family is not personal. Don't take it personal, and have the ability and the understanding to approach it as a mental health disease. That's how it has to be approached, not with anger and frustration and animosity, because they're not going to remember half the stuff you said anyways, because they're inebriated. So screaming and yelling and having these huge knock 'em sock 'em arguments with an alcoholic who's under the influence of alcohol is a complete waste of time. Number one, they're probably not going to remember 95% of what you said to them anyways, and you're going to wake up angry and frustrated and filled with animosity. You're so tired of carrying the bag. You're so tired of having to do all the chores and all the work and really picking up all the pieces to this person who's no longer really functioning as a human being. And I know so many families go through this, so many spouses go through this. If you have a parent and your child is the issue, it's even more heartbreaking, because you watch them struggle and suffer, and all you want to do is help them. And in some ways, that's the last thing you want to do, is help them financially. Sometimes you have to let them fail on their own. And I've always said this, sometimes you have to give them the gift of failure. That's how they're going to be able to pull themselves up from their bootstraps and discover their rock bottom when they get to the point where they themselves are tired of living this particular lifestyle. And when it comes from them, then they have a fighting chance. And what I mean when it comes from them, when it comes from, I want to get sober, and it's genuine from them, then they're probably going to make it. And allowing the loved one in your family to hit rock bottom is probably emotionally one of the most difficult things to do as a family member, certainly as a parent or as a spouse, and really any relationship. To help you out with that, again, I have my wife's memoir. It's called Amanda, A Cautionary Tale of Alcoholism. It goes through all these types of emotions. This was my story of my wife's 20-year decline with alcohol use disorder, and unfortunately she passed away and succumbed to it a little over, almost 5 years ago rather. Again, you can find it on Amazon. You can find it on my website in the link tree. Go to the website, and the PayPal button is right there, or purchase on Amazon. Again, I go live Monday through Friday, right around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We also have the Facebook group. It's called There's an Alcoholic in the Family. Wonderful support group. We've got about 3,500 members in there right now. Also, if you're ready to work with me one-on-one, set up a breakthrough call. Link is in the bio. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour if you're ready. If you're an alcoholic, I also suggest to bring your family members in eventually, because it's really a family disease. The call takes about 45 minutes to an hour. The call is free. The course is definitely not. We're going to go over the course and make sure it's perfect fit for you. So, I'm looking for people who are committed and who want to change their lives and the lives of their family. And again, thanks so much for listening.